right, there we go. We apologize for the technical difficulties, y'all. Please bear with us. What now, fault? I don't know. We don't know what was going on. We don't know what was going on. But good morning, everybody. How are
Good
you?
morning, good morning, good morning.
This is episode 46 of Two Peas in a Podcast.
Man,
Ray over
46.
here. I'm over here. I'm over here.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's making that right. That's making a
I
difference.
can't.
All right, y'all. This is gonna be a good one. We're not going into the intro for recording purposes and all of that. It's just gonna be what it is when people see this as a replay. So if you see
Facts.
this as a replay, what happened was we were actually live with all the little bells and whistles as we normally would do, but then we had technical difficulties where you couldn't hear, well, you could hear us, but you couldn't see us. And then when we figured out what was wrong, it was a little too late. So we had to start a new broadcast, but we good. Hey, Tim said pickable. Hey, Tim. All right, so let's just run down a couple things real fast. First, number one, Dre on time, and we got technical difficulties. That's what happened.
This is why I gotta be. This is why I gotta be late. You know what I'm
That's what
saying? That's why I
happened.
gotta be late.
This is gonna be good. Thank you. I thank you guys for coming back and being patient with us. But this is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one to kind of like it's real, right? I think some people are so
Very relevant topic.
tuned in their social media groups and their position in the groups that it's actually has taken a toll on some of the mindsets of some people. So we're going to go through how to effectively use those groups. And I'm going to talk a lot about even with group chats. Like I'm a big person. I love everybody, but I'm not chatting with people all day. I am a person who believe that you should own your lifetime and tell people when enough is enough and exit when it's time to exit. And you have the right to do that, and no one should ever take it personal. But the main reason is that we know that social media and these social media groups sometimes can be full of crap that is not a positive impact or a positive load on your mental state. So Elias said that mess. Elias said that messed him up. Yeah, and so unfortunately, I think for some people, if you don't know, you're going to have to resubscribe. I'm not resubscribe, but you're going to have to re-get the notification to probably see this on anything other than social media on Facebook right now. But let's go. First, before we get into any of that, I'm just going to sit something like right here. And then I just want people's opinion on it. I saw it when I woke up in the middle of the night. So I just want everybody to take a moment and type your thoughts in the chats. We know that there was some discussion that this would be coming and that this would be happening, but it's really happening. Share your thoughts in the chat about the Goof Troopers.
Mm.
Curious. I can tell you, I haven't seen a trailer. I'm gonna go look for one. I just saw the advertising of it, and I will hope that what we see on a regular day. KT said, "What the hell is that?" That's a new TV show. They picked the most credible person of the reptile community to do a whole TV show to
You
make
said credible.
out animals. I was being sarcastic.
I was just making sure I heard you right. It's 8 in the morning. I had to make sure.
I was being sarcastic. But yeah, this is like beyond weird to me that this is really happening. But I also think there's a political angle to this. Like we about people about to see some mishandling of snakes, most likely some unhealthy animals, most likely. And so all I can say in a positive way is to remind everyone to continue to put out content of your animals that are positive to overwhelm society, with seeing that what they think these animals are is not that, or what they think it is actually what you truly experience, and that these animals are pets just like any other pets. So this is going to be interesting though to see how that all pans out. Elias said that cracked me up, but I'm not worried about it because it's not going on a major platform like Netflix or Paramount Plus. Got you. Okay. All right. Tim, if he changes up his hyperdramatic stuff, it could be good. If he keeps depicting them as vicious, not so much. Absolutely. And that's what I'm hoping, Tim. Like, I'm hoping that he's taking this opportunity. Sometimes people take a bad trail to get to a good place. So maybe the trail that he's taking is to get here to mainstream, to kind of show people what it really is and not what it's not. So we're gonna pray on that. Let's hope that's what that is.
I'm gonna check it out for research purposes. Donnie from Nerd did a video a while ago, I guess when the news first broke, and he left this super long message basically talking about how, everyone's gonna really be surprised at the show, and how he really is trying to highlight the animals in the most positive way and bring educational value to the reptile community. So I screenshotted that comment. So if I watch an episode or two and it's not that, I'm going to be really disappointed, and I'm going to repost that comment and tag him and see exactly how what he says is what he's doing on TV. Me personally, I met him in person, and honestly, he was one of the most humble people I've ever met in the reptile community. And then he gets on camera and he's just a completely different person. So it's unfortunate to see somebody who's actually a pretty decent human being from that standpoint get on camera.
See that every day.
So it's just like
we see that every day in the reptile community.
I mean, for sure, but it's
we're going to talk about that when we get to the slides.
Yeah. It's just somebody, somebody that has such a big, because whether we want to admit it or not, a lot of people look at his content. So we'll see.
Yeah, agreed, Tim. Agreed.
So we got a lot of reptile keepers like, I'm not going to watch it, which I understand. But however, how else are we going to hold people accountable?
Yeah, right.
So, so I mean, I get it though. I get it.
So where is this airing? Because I just saw the thing keep coming up.
I think it said Roku TV on the thing. Roku Originals. I'm assuming Roku.
Good morning, Holly. I had to tell my family and friends to stop sending me his TikToks because they kept using it to prove me. Girl, boy. Wait, let me tell you this. I just stopped responding. Like, don't even, like, I tell family once or twice, I do not, that's not how my animals are. And then I just start responding. But we get sent stuff all the time, right? Like, it can be a snake knocking on the back door of a patio that's not even sure. We get sent that because, for people to think that our animals would definitely do that, right?
I mean, everybody becomes a professional. Like, no matter who the people are, no matter what experience they have, everybody becomes a professional when it comes to snakes.
Well, so the thing is, in his case, he's, next to Bob Clark and Nerd and, probably one other person, has the most experience with them for the longest times, definitely on a magnitude of experience. I can't believe that he has that many unfavorable experiences with his snakes. And if he does, That is not what we should be depicting, because it's not a real perception of the snake. It's a perception of the time that the snakes don't get. And common people would not understand that. So that's
I
my
mean, yeah, and even then though, we've all seen how obviously obese some of those snakes are. Like they are large.
yeah. They're definitely not the sizes they should be. Just check out Sunny and Shed's videos to see how many professionals are out there. Tim, I woke up early this morning to it, and I could not help myself this morning. I had to give him a good old Ed response.
Give
But
me
it's
one
my
second,
truth.
Nicole. I gotta step away for a quick
Okay.
second. I'll be right back.
That's my truth though. Like, so the question was, actually I should have uploaded it here. So I think I did screenshot it because I was going to send it to Dre. Let me see. And I'm gonna read it verbatim. So under a post of, if guys, I actually had Ed on the show before, and so if you see the young girl Emmy on any social media, news or whatever, she has two large retics that are her pets, and she grew up with them. Amazing animals. She is actually one of the inspirations that made me feel like, okay, it is not, absolutely capable of, you're capable of keeping multiple long snakes. That's what I want to call them, long snakes. You're not large snakes, long snakes. And so he is constantly attacked for allowing his daughter to have this supervised relationship with these snakes, but it's their reality. She can also, those of you who watch videos of how I handle my snakes, this little girl, I shared videos of her actually doing yoga, like her taking yoga positions, and share actually assuming those positions with her. It's the most incredible relationships you're going to see with a young child and these animals that most adults are fearful of. So there's a thread right now on some websites, and I don't know how I even came across it. It was just, and then I noticed that Tim was on the thread. Like, so many people were on the thread, but someone responded to me in the wee hours of the morning because I made a comment about that her relationship with these animals it personifies a level of trust and loyalty on both sides. So I think that's great parenting. I think that's having a great pet. And one of the things someone posted this morning says, Nicole Tisdale, you can trust a dog and other pets to sleep at night in your children's bed without supervisions. Can you do that with a snake? That was their question to me. And my response is, which is a true response, is actually I treat my snakes just as I do both of my dogs. So to your point, I don't allow my dogs to sleep with kids. However, the difference is because of the risk to the child. My concern with the snake is the risk to the snake. Great question. And I mean that. Like, I don't not have my grandkids sleep with the reticulated pythons because I think that the reticulated pythons would eat them. It's because they will roll on the reticulated pythons, probably break their cervical and spinal cords. They will suffocate the snakes. The snake's not going to stay in that one place most likely at night, and they're going to go wandering around the house. That's what the concern is. So I don't let my animals, my dogs, sleep with my grandkids, because if the Rottweiler gets a bad nightmare and wake up and decides that he's going to take a chomp and realize it's too late that the chomp is out of a grandkid, I'm not taking that risk either. So people ask some of the asinine questions sometimes, and they think that they're being smart, but this is the reality. When we say we treat these animals just like our pets, we treat them just like you treat your pet. It's not a hypothetical, it's facts. So that was just absolutely the thread keeps going on. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop for facts. So
Sorry, I was listening to that whole thing. I had the little one woke up, had to get her some breakfast. But you made a very valid point, and I think to that point, what bothers me the most is that everybody wants to compare every animal to a dog. If I wanted a dog, I would get a dog. I don't
Right.
need my snakes to act like a dog. I don't, oh, well, snakes don't do anything like a dog. That's the whole point of me getting a snake, is that it's not a dog. So when people be like, "Oh, it's puppy dog," it's stupid. It's There's no point in. Of course, we already know that many people only understand to their their level of understanding. So trying to tell people and talk to people about it, I see it the most on TikTok. I literally had a lady get upset, and KT can attest to this because he's one of my moderators. But I had a lady get upset because she started talking about the Bible, and I was like, "You talking to somebody that's not religious? I don't care what your book says. I'm sorry, but you cannot label these snakes aggressive based on what a book says, and you have no experience with them. It doesn't make any sense to me." So she got
Well,
upset and started
the
sending me
whole thing with
messages.
that is just like with everything else with like yes, I stand on my beliefs, like marriage.
Hmm.
That's one of my spiritual commitments that I stand on. But what people fail to realize is that when you start attacking or pairing up sins to the Bible, the first thing that most of us failed is the sin of fornication, which is one of the worst sins you can have. The like being a whore in the Bible was like one of the worst things you could be, and no one references everything else. So that's always my response.
They
Okay,
they
yes,
pick and choose.
even if that's right, that's what I'm saying. Even if that's your belief, right? What about all the other things?
Right.
So it was
So
more of a game plan. It wasn't necessarily the plan for everybody. Everybody's going to take a different lane, train,
yeah,
automobile.
I just don't understand the logic behind snakes are evil.
Well, it's the logic
What?
is understood growing up in a Baptist atmosphere. It's simply how the message has been so misinterpreted by, or no, maybe intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like the
I mean, but
has always wanted to be the story that the daggone snake made Eve bite the apple.
it just makes me laugh because I grew up religious.
You tell Adam to bite the apple.
I grew up religious. I grew up Baptist actually. So it's just like once you get to a certain age and you're able to do your own research and actually start, looking into things yourself. It's just some people just don't. To each their own, but don't go
And
spewing.
it goes to just sometimes people just want to believe what they want to believe because
It makes
I
them feel
always
safe.
say one of the hardest things that you can get most people to do is shift their mindset. Like you can get people to shift their skill set, you can get people to shift their will set. It's so hard to get people to shift their mindset. And so
I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot more whores than I do snake owners. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a lot of snake owners out there. I'm gonna be honest about it. I'm just saying.
exactly, Rob. Exactly. Exactly. So I think that all of that is going to definitely apply to, like, it's going to all tie into our topic. So we're going to get into our topic. Before we dive into it though, we want to make sure I want to do our scripture for Brian. And this morning is a Psalm 34, 4 through 5, 8. I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. And when I thought about Brian, I thought about that psalm because for a man who is facing the fight of his life, right? He is still trying to bring these selfish ass people in the reptile community the same content. He is still trying to come and show great face. He looks otherwise, well. I mean, you can definitely see that the treatments, like for anybody, is taking a toll, but he's able to come to work every day fighting one of the worst cancers of his life. So keep being positive, Brian. Keep facing it. Keep taking it head on. Your attitude will dictate your altitude, and we still believe that you will win. So just keep being positive. What did Dre say? What I miss? Oh, the whole. I'm not. Never mind. No need to revisit that. That's
And
it.
you would click on that one.
All right, so bear with us. We're going to go to. Do I even have them all in here? Yes, I do.
Don't get stuck on the overlays this time.
Oh, be quiet. I'm telling you, I think it was just StreamYard.
Hey, that dude fly. Okay,
Who is he?
there we go.
Um,
Not who is he.
so we're going to start.
Disrespectful as hell.
So I was just kind of like Googling and researching like the top few things that people would say that's positive about social media and align them into some of the things that I would say as well, right? So we decide we okay, when we get to the second slideshow, I will discuss what prompted, or we will paraphrase what prompted my thoughts on having this as a topic. But I think it's something that is evidently so. I'll get there.
It's relatable, very relatable, and very relevant. So we'll
It's
say that it's real.
But what some things that it's great for is like building business, right? So social media is really great for building business, building rapport with your customers, building your brand, working your brand into your social media. It's really awesome for that, for those reasons. It's a quick way to do it as well. It's the quickest way to market because everybody, if they like your presentation and they like what you're representing or they like what you've seen, and sometimes even indirectly, I know when I post snakes, sometimes there's someone who always shares my animals in other countries, and I think that is like I said, the quickest way to market. You're touching bases and you're making connections globally consistently. So there's some great quality in that. The qualities of expressions of empathy and kindness, like when there is trouble, someone's having trouble in the reptile community, is a quick way for us to share the message. It's a quick way to get assistance, for the people that you network with. Speaking of, let me plug. I don't have it with me. Elias, drop your link to your Amazon account for your school supplies. So, and you should be receiving yours from me today in the mail, by the way. But Elias actually is now officially, or was a teacher, but is officially taking on his own classroom. So what we're going to do is make sure that we support and make sure that he gets the supplies that he needs to provide quality education to your heathen ass children, to the children of the world who needs guidance. And I'm just so excited for Elias because you need those representations in the classroom of people who can be relatable to children on many, many angles, and make them feel like it's a safe place to come and have conversations in general. We need the younger generation who is also mature enough and care enough about the generation to nurture them still in the classroom. I always say, and I will say it over and over again, it's amazing to me that teachers are one of the lowest paid professions when it should be one of the highest paid, because without it's the teachers who teaches the doctors, the lawyers, the surgeons, your IT people, your political science, all of that is teachers teaching them. However, we pay the doctors more than we pay the teacher. I never understood that concept, even when I was a little girl, when I found out how much, especially back then, when teachers were getting paid. So I say that to say, yes, he has a job, because y'all know I don't believe in supporting people who don't have a job. Yes, the first person right next to Bosa who is going to commit to supporting anybody in this reptile community. So I'm asking everybody, pause for the cause. Go, and it's nothing in it. You can pick and choose, and you can do it how often if you want. If you want to buy 10 hours worth of stuff this week. I don't think it's a limit to what you can buy. When you can buy is a list of stuff and needs for the classroom. And I just think that this is definitely a cause that we should continue to support, someone who supports all of us.
Sure.
All of us that I know of. Let me say that.
Y'all show Elias some love in the chat. That's big. Congratulations on that.
Just saying. So, all right, back to my slide, but I just wanted to make sure I plug that real fast. Okay. So so it's a great way to promote expressions of empathy and kindness. When someone loses a loved one, to say, we're here for you. People saying that we pray, but when you say that you praying for them, really pray for them. Like, I don't like that. Like, you don't have to say I'm praying for you. You can say my thoughts are with you if you don't feel like praying. I can't stand when people say, everybody, I'm praying. No, you're not. If you pray, y'all, I just hate that stuff to say. If you pray, pray. If praying is not your thing and that's not what you feel like doing at the moment, say my thoughts are with you. But it's a good way to express your empathy as well. Motivation. Social media gives me motivation. So I'm coming back to the screen because I'm going to look to what I call my little big kid brother right here. Because I don't always give him public kudos, but definitely. Definitely my motivation, y'all. When it comes to this social media stuff, like we shared a post about a week or so ago. Like, y'all should feel sorry for Dre on that side, because I'll have these grand ass ideas. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and I don't know how to do it. Like, but I got the idea though, so I gotta get him to put all of the techie behind it and teach me. And and I know it's frustrating sometimes, but that post was the typical of how it goes. And I knew what that last sentence meant. Like, like, oh my God, I'm so irritated. Can you just show up to the live? I got everything else.
Yeah.
That's hilarious to me. And it's so funny. Like, it's so funny when you're getting on somebody's nerves, but they, you are my motivation. Like, I think, and shout out to CJ. Because when we get to the other part, like, I think that sometimes people devalue what they do for others because someone is not always saying kudos, sharing this, or this person is that, whatever. I'm going to tell everybody, you stay motivated for yourself, right? But it is motivating when you have people supporting you on the side with the whole, like, I'm gonna go this far as to set this up for you and stuff like that. Keisha too. Shout out to Keisha. She does it a lot for the suspects. Like, Keisha will just go all out on that level of social media presentation and social media assistance for the guys when, like, otherwise, somebody else might not feel like doing it. Or if you're like me, I just don't feel like playing with it that much to figure it out when I can just got Dre right there who can just give me do this. A whole hour of reading or watching a video is now condensed in a good minute. I don't understand what the problem is. Like, I'm 50. I keep telling you.
I don't understand the problem. Yes, ma'am.
When you can just put it in a bullet and tell me what to do. So, education. Specifically with social media groups, Facebook groups, or tactile groups, whatever you in, your number one goal is to figure out what in the world, what are you in here for? Because, like, some of these groups, the basis of them is not even relative, to be honest. But you can still pull some from them. Like, I have been in groups that, I may not support and I'm not gonna say the group, like, but I pulled people out of the groups that I have relationships with. They're still very supportive, in anything that I need or want them.
That's how we met.
Right, exactly.
Neither one of us in that group.
Right. So it's a positive, and I'm bringing it up under the positive because I don't care what happens under certain situations, and you've met a slew of positive, motivating people from some of the groups that you may have to exit from, and you shouldn't feel bad about it. Really? Did y'all hear that?
DMX is straight.
No, that was my retake wanting to come out. He's not even. He just sitting there, just trying to push the door. No, and they're gonna turn this here like, you see me, I see you, I get you out of the field. But so yeah, so you utilize those groups for the education that you need, build relationships with the people. Like, you don't have to like everything about a certain group. Like for me, and I'm very, very vocal about it. Y'all heard me say it when me and Jake just did our recent video. I wasn't really, really big on the Retech Nation. But now that I see that how it's improving, I want to be there more. I want to, communicate there more. I want to be more a part of it, but I learned a lot from Retech Nation. There were some reputable people in there that I like to follow and I respect highly. But it just wasn't a good place, every day. And I like to fill my head with places that are good places and spend more time, if I'm going to be a part of a group, because I also have denied groups, because that's another thing. If you got 10,000 people in this group, and then someone in that group and it starts another group, and then all of you to join their group, what's the point? It's already a group of 10,000 people. And this was something I always said, even admin in the bro group. I used to think that was so ridiculous. Like, I am not, if it's at that time, 8,000 people in the Black Reptile Owners group, you leave the group. I mean, and then start another group and invite all the people from that same group. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm a person who will limit the groups I am. I don't need to be in 15 ball python groups. I'm gonna pick the ones that are the best environment and I'm learning from, and they're teaching me the things that I need to know. Not the ones that are negative, unfavorable, or if I feel like that there's not positive feedback coming from that group, then I'm not posting in a group that's not giving positive feedback. Did you want to add something there before I go to the next point on the slide?
No, I think you got it.
Okay. Positive, finding your voice. I've seen that being a person who's doing the broadcasting, the YouTubing, the podcast,
TikTok lives, all of that.
Yes. So many people who wouldn't otherwise do social will show their face on screen or talk on screen or everything. There were so many people who found their voice through social media. People who otherwise had social disorders, where they're more comfortable talking to a group of people on social media than they are sitting one-on-one in a restaurant or in a Starbucks with somebody else talking one-on-one. That's a positive. It gives people another outlet to speak. As a mother of a son with special needs, I can tell you that that's common with kids with special needs. They may not want to be in small individual circles of people, but they are great in social media outset in atmospheres of social media. So there's a positive to that too. Your direct marketing opportunities, we talked about a little bit of that. It's a great way to share your Morph Market page. By the way, you guys can visit my Morph Market, see what's available today. I have animals that are not posted there. For one or two reasons, I haven't really mentally parted with them, but I am going to post another set of 4 reticulated pythons this week. I don't know exactly what day, but this week. There are no, but out of the last 2 clutches that just hatched, which y'all haven't seen all of them yet. This is both of them are beautiful clutches. They all coming out the eggs. I'm gonna wait till they shed before I show them. But out of them, I think only one or two will actually be available. And they have some nice calico leopard combos and really, really, really pretty animals. So, but just like I just did that, I directly marketing, use the opportunity to market my most market. Social media is great for that. Um, Customer service, like getting feedback and responding to your customers' feedback is great for that. When your sales from Morph Market transition to an Instagram message and you guys actually build rapport and a relationship, that customer becomes more than just a customer, becomes a friend, and you can actually have that person be a repeat buyer. And I think the greatest thing that like I will especially occasionally breeding the longest snake in the earth is to have a cool group of people that I sell to over and over again. And establishing your brand, when everybody sees the same thing, out, like for me, the purples and the blacks and the golds, like when you see the same thing over and over again, you kind of associate that with the person's brand, right? So it's a lot of positive. A lot of times we get caught up in the negative part, but when we go to the negative part, I want to talk about the why, right? Sometimes I said, go back to, some people need to think about, why are you really into this social media group? And the first thing I would say is that if anything in life is not bringing you joy, you shouldn't want to be a part of it, right? Life is too short to be anything but happy. And if it doesn't make you feel like your purpose in the group is fulfilled, whatever your purpose is. I've learned a long time ago that people join groups for different reasons. Okay, I'm over it. Okay, I grasp it, and I just, let them, and you do you, and we move forward. Right? Everybody grasps different things for different reasons, but you have to think about what you really want out of that group. Why are you hitting the button to join that group? Because even if the group has a branch off of other activities and things like that, if your initial reason for entering the group was education of reptiles, and the group is less of that and more of something else, then it may just not be the group for you. You just exit that group and find something that's more triggered and driven towards what your goals are, that before we go into the not so positive stuff, I'm gonna come back up here and just go to the chat for a minute, right? Because I know I missed, you can see it, but I know I missed some stuff.
Yeah, I've been commenting. Lily, Nakatani Exotic popped in. It just hasn't been surprisingly. It's been kind of quiet, in my opinion.
Okay, good. All right, so you got it. Okay.
KT actual time is lunch. I said 11:45. Nuggets and fries and chocolate milk.
Okay, so that's the Amazon list right there.
Yes.
Elias. So yeah, so support him and make sure that the classroom gets what they need, because teachers not paid what they should be paid.
Yep.
That's what came to my mind when I said that, Elias. Dre motivated Nicole to be on TikTok now. She running it. I forgot I was supposed to actually do this live again today, so I forgot I was supposed to go live while we here.
We have fun on TikTok. They banned me over the weekend, but I'm back.
That's a good example, Elias, because I said for the longest time, I will not. Great example. This slideshow makes me feel like I'm back in school. It's lunch. I can't stay. You can't see. All right, so back to the slideshow since KT is a smarty poo. All right, so back here. All right, so some of the not so positive. First one, I would say a lot of social media in general and Specifically, reptile groups can be toxic if you do not monitor what you're entertaining.
The whole community definitely can be in general, but I think those groups specifically there's a lot of weirdos in those groups. A lot of them.
And so, yeah, weirdos will be in the next. Like, so you should be able to identify them. So some people, like, okay. Some people, childhoods or young adult experiences may have them socially placed in a captive mindset, that they have to create certain things to be somebody, right? Where other people create groups because they are true leaders, right? They are true trailblazers. They are promoting true brandish stuff that you could, put out on mainstream, and they just leaders. Some of what people follow, when I say go to the question of why you are in that group, is a sense of belonging, right? And then when you feel like you don't belong, right, in that setting for whatever reason, because some of them groups are not, it's based on biases and things like that, right? So when you feel like you don't belong, it becomes depression. And no one should be anywhere that cause them depression or stress. Like, you should exit stage left. Like, if people get on my nerves, right? People, like in this house, I can't escape the people who can get on my nerves. This is the house. These are the people I live with. But everybody outside of that, I have control. Even in this house, I have control. But I mean, I have real control over outside people. I exit stage left. I'm not saying you got to change who you are. I'm not saying that you can't be who you want to be. When I exit stage left, it's because it protects a part of my stability, whether it's my anger management or whether it's my obsessive compulsiveness. Like, it's controlling something that I know that I need to exit to be able to keep my mental state.
Protect your peace by any means.
That's what it is. And some people, though, feel like they have to overindulge. So they feel like that I'm in this group and I want something other than what I said I came in for. And that's fine, but be true to yourself if that's what the case is. Because let me tell you something. A lot of these groups are ran by narcissists. Some of these groups, like I said, was ran by people who using as a voice to be a keyboard warrior. Is
weirdos.
Jake said weirdo. Cyberbullying, or just to feel value within themselves, because there's no value outside of
you forgetting one. You forgetting one. And you forgetting one. Perverts. A lot of perverts out here too. Yeah, we can classify them under weirdos, but I wanted to make sure I separated them out and called them out specifically, because I know plenty of people who start groups and be trying to see some titties. So, just saying.
And perverts. But at the same time, there's a place for everybody. Maybe that's why you're in the group. But don't get upset when the group doesn't treat you favorable based on the mindset of why you thought you were in the group. Then on the flip side, you got to think about, this is the main question. And Dre, I want you to talk, because when you said this, I wrote it down. That whole, the group doesn't need, you don't need the group needs you.
For sure.
But that's with anything, right? Any group. Like the football team, it's not the football team if the 15 people don't show up. If the 55 people don't show up. Like, there is Hey, lady. So therefore, they're not. It's not what it is if they don't show up. So any group, anything you're associated, place your value on yourself. On yourself.
Yeah. So when I left that comment, I like to, like you said, I like to self-motivate people, because that's how I look at myself. Um, a lot of people feel like they, I don't even think people feel like they need a group, but it's like they hang on because they think that they're benefiting from this group and they're really not. And it's like, you're not, you're literally giving more than you're getting. So therefore, this group is counting on people like you being here. And then once you take a step back and you realize, okay, I got this many followers on this platform. This group only has this many people. I'm reaching more people on this platform alone than this group is reaching, and this group is not conducive to what I stand for. It's time to be out. So at the end of the day, that group wouldn't be that group without people like you. And I think if people understood stuff like that, then a lot of people would be happier, because I do feel like a lot of people on social media, they get like a false sense of entitlement. And we all know social media gives people a platform. People feel like they can be something else.
It's a word. They can be something that they are not. It's right there. That's right. That's right, Mama. Tell them. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me put on screen.
They can hear you.
Oh, she talking. She talking some stuff though. She telling some stuff to say. She got something to say.
Look like Nicole got the overlay stuck again.
No, I didn't. There you go. Got it.
But
what you say? What you say? Look. She said something. Them people are they are a mess, aren't they? Like, oh, now I can see myself.
Right. But yeah, I just think a lot of people hang on to some of these groups, and it's like no reason to. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you are in a Facebook group or a group in general, not even just reptiles, if you're in a group in general and you're not getting out of it what you expected, or you feel like it's not really conducive to what you stand for, be out. Like, you don't owe them people nothing. Be out. Be done and stick to what you do, because I can guarantee you, since me and you both left a particular group, it's been up. It's been up.
Yeah, I mean, I think like for me again, I think it's all about protecting your energy, right? Because like with chats, I tell anybody I won't do only one chat that I'm chatting with all the time, and even in some days, like I'll totally check out, because you have to. And I encourage everybody to do that. Like, you got to check out. If the focus is your family that day, make the focus your family that day. If the focus is your kids that day, make the focus the kids. Like, I think that we get too consumed in social media, and we spend a lot of time, especially like content creators. You spend a lot of time on social media creating content for social media. So it can get to a point where, you just don't want to look at it. You know what I mean? For a minute. But if it's not giving you, if it doesn't make me laugh, I don't want to be there. If it doesn't teach me something, I don't want to be there.
Pretty much. And at the end of the day, I'm always going to go harder for my personal social platform than for any group. That's why I'm in groups, but I don't comment much.
Right, and that's another thing. Like I said, find out your purpose, what you there. If you're not there to be a admin, or if you're not there to be a person who is giving all of the feedback, then you could be there. Like, there are some groups like the Monitor and Lizard one. I'm in that group every day. I don't talk in there. I don't comment in there. It's just not, a place that I have a lot to say. I mean,
it's a lot of good information to soak up, and I don't need to have a.
I like the stuff like building and husband.
Yeah, the DIY groups and stuff.
Yes. I like that stuff. Now, if you go into like a retic nation, if you want to know genetics, like that's a good way to learn. If you get into retics, there's so many intelligent people who have been doing it a long time and know the base morphs and know how they were built upon, and that's how they know what you visually have. So you got to utilize it for what you're using it for. But if you're there because you want 50 people to like your picture every time that you post your snake, because that's another thing. Like,
That's you seeking validation at that point. That's a
Yes.
personal issue. That has nothing to do with the group. That's everything to do with you.
There is it's the Burmese Python group is a lot. Like where you have people who like this post because I got a big snake type of post. No education behind or anything like that.
There's so many divas in these boa groups.
See, I don't do a lot of the ball python groups. I can get everything I want about ball pythons from the suspects and KG and it's just so many people. Pike, like if I needed Matthew Oakley, talk about pulling people from a group, right? I will say it over and over again. Nobody knows ball pythons like Matthew Oakley. He is
Daddy.
the G on ball python genetics. But that's a person that, just because I left the group, I didn't stop communication with him. Like we talk all the time. He's definitely an asset to me. And that's my point. What do you want out of the group? I want education. I want people who can support my new journey. Matthew is one who's going to support regardless.
Yep.
Joey said, and to contribute to the convo at hand, I very much enjoy being in groups. I'm in a real nice engagement, all the good stuff. Facebook groups on it. Right. You have to definitely monitor yourself. Yep. Shout out to V Unit and Wiz Tank Clan. And even down to when it comes to would you rather 95-degree weather every day or 30-degree weather?
95, I'll take it.
Every day. Yeah, 95.
Walk in the house and lay in the air.
I can get cool. I can get cool real fast. I can jump in a pool in the water.
Exactly. I don't mind being outside as long as I can cool down. At 30 degrees, and me and you both know that 30 degrees feel like it's something vicious.
Exactly.
Nothing to play with.
Exactly. So then the biggest thing is we put up there was the narcissists. And there's a lot of them. Like I actually feel sorry for, and I used to always say this, any man who doesn't be there for his daughter and teach her a value, because the narcissist on social media will take it over.
Like that was personal.
No, I'm just saying in general, like there are real people who literally, like, you don't know what they do behind the scenes.
What their contribution is.
Yes.
World.
Yes. And even when it comes to like podcasts and things like that, like I'm very, if I don't have to like the person. What I mean by the person, because I don't know half these people personally, but I don't have to like the person to watch the podcast. If I feel that person is going to give good content on a certain subject, or if you have a guest that I like, I'm watching. But then there's others that if I feel like the entire time I'm a cringe, it's no disrespect, I'm just not going to watch it. So you have to control that energy. A lot of people are not going to change who they are for you to, unless some big shit happen, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are not going to change who they are for you to enjoy their content. So you have to change where you are. That's just that simple. But if you're coming in and you're experiencing, good morning, Clovis, if you coming in and you experiencing anxiety because you're not recognized in a group, or if you experiencing anxiety that you feel as though you're not getting the benefit of what you felt as though that you needed from the group, then the group is not for you. You have control over what you're going to indulge in, period.
What?
Period.
You spilled your milk.
And it was an accident.
It was an accident?
Yeah.
Okay, Daddy gonna come clean it up. I'm listening. I gotta clean up on aisle 3 with some milk.
Right, so let's see. Poor boys be so sassy
Oh,
over
okay,
there
go ahead.
called albinos.
Yeah, look, them boa groups, man, they are divas in the boa groups.
Off topic. What kind of music did you like to listen to?
Okay.
Reggae. Yeah. So, Dre, you got any final?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, um, part of me wants to say fine. I can't stand this lady. At the end of the day,
See what happened when I learned something, y'all?
find what group, works for you, but don't feel like you need a group in order to thrive in the reptile world. You don't. You need a
Right.
few good people and just focus on your content. At the end of the day, focus on what you want to be known for. What is going to be your historical footprint? When it's all said and done, what are you leaving to the world and to the community?
And if you have double the followers that a group has as an individual, check out. Like you really don't have the stress. Like
Yo, they said the world runs on Duncan.
You ain't got.
They said the world runs on Duncan, but we see Nicole run on Duncan. Y'all see? but it's facts. It's
if
facts.
you have 50,000, 100,000 followers, and a group has 10, and they stressing you out.
But that's exactly why I said
left.
The group doesn't need you. You don't need that group. They need you.
Absolutely. Message. That was probably the greatest message. Because it's sad. Like, I think that some people just feel like they gotta be a part, and you don't. If it doesn't serve your purpose, and that's not just
listen,
here, y'all. That's in life. Life. When I tell you that, learn how to master your deposits and your withdrawals. And I'm not just talking about your bank account.
No.
Who can deposit things into your day-to-day and who can take away? You learn how to manage that.
Literally, learn how to be the thermostat, not the thermometer. That is like one of my favorite quotes, because we all know a thermostat is going to be able to control everything. So, yeah, me personally, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And with that, y'all, that's our show for today. I had a really good, wait a minute, y'all. So real fast. I had a really, 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 really good fishing day yesterday. So those of y'all who are on social media, y'all should look at our fishing day yesterday.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you. We had a good anniversary weekend. Shout out to my husband, because y'all, for those of y'all who don't know, we are normally never in the States. This ball python journey, this breeding journey, definitely shifted where we can be when we want to be certain places. And so we normally are not home. We normally on the island for our anniversary, but we stayed home. I mean, we didn't stay in the house, but we stayed in Maryland and had an amazing time for our anniversary. But shout out to him, because your partner sacrificed a lot sometimes for us to live our dreams, and my husband never complained.
Must be nice.
But he said, shut up. Faces so much. And I mean, in little things like that, like, could you imagine like being a person who loves being in the Caribbean and, well, babe, we got ball pythons hatching at this time. We can't go. Like,
a real one for sure.
You know what I'm saying? You can have an asshole be like, you can't go. I'm on the
send you a postcard with a little snake on it.
Oh my goodness. But no, we had an amazing time, and like the fish were just biting like crazy. I want to go back today, but anything that makes me feel good, I'm going to obsess with that. That's what I'm going to do. I don't care what it is. I'm going. Oh yes. So Tim, I am so sorry that I had to miss it. So Retic Fest was this, and you know what? I'm going to take this moment Shout out to the fat man because he was at Retic Fest. I love to see when people who normally are not showing these animals. So I can't wait to see everybody's content. From Retic Fest. Hopefully next year I can actually make it there.
That's my plan too.
Hey Gage, I ain't seen Gage in a minute. How are you? Now, no, some podcast hosts, let me be quiet. This is supposed to be positive. Elias always acting up. Would you ever donate some of your snakes to the zoo for free zoo tickets for 1 year? Nope. I would never donate my snakes ever. My animals.
That defeats the purpose. I'm gonna go donate some snakes to go see the snakes when I could just look at them in my house. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Tim said, "Oh damn, it's a snake, not Prince Andrew." Thank you, bro. Yeah, facts. I'm telling you, your deposits and your withdrawals. Y'all had a good time, Tim. I really like watching all the footage. I can't wait till y'all put all the content together. And shout out to Reach Out Reptiles and Garrett for always putting it on. I'm gonna make it 1 year.
We're gonna go next year. We got to go next year.
Well, it all depends. Well, next year I can because between Michael and Skylar, because let me tell y'all something, my grandbaby could probably run this whole jackaboy if it wasn't for these daggone big snakes. You know what I'm saying? Like she probably could, even like cutting the eggs for the first time. Like she was just like a G. I was stressing. She was like, I got this. But she just, and she's so passionate about it. So what I try to do is let her do as much of it as she can because that would be helpful. Like, so even if Michael just did the big snakes and she was here to help with any babies hatching or something like that, the girl gonna be ready. She gonna be ready. Big facts.
Teach them young.
Yeah, Chris and I are filming this week. Awesome, Tim. All right, so that's all we have. Everybody have an amazing Monday. Remember to filter what is deposited into you and what is withdrawn from you. It is okay to say no. So many people suffer from depression because they won't say no. Some people suffer from depression because they are there for everybody else that sometimes they can't be there for themselves. One thing that my daddy always told me that it is okay to be selfish. Because that's
I can say no in 5 different languages. I don't got no problem.
Yeah, I mean, and it's okay. Like, and if you can say yes and it's not withdrawing too much from you to say yes, then say yes. What I hear a lot of times is people will say, I'm so tired, but you're the first one that feels like you gotta be there for everybody. That's why you're tired. That's why you're tired. We are living in a day where we all are going through something. Mm-hmm. It may not be the same something, but we all are going through something. And so if you continue let people, and I'm not saying intentionally, I know I'm obligated to one set of people, and that's my grandchildren. They're the only ones who can't fend for themselves. They're the only ones I'm jumping hoops for. Anybody else? You got to bear with me. You got to adjust with me. You might get a few no's. They're the only ones that I got to make sure got oodles and noodles. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be there for nobody else. I say it all the time. Don't send me messages. I'm technically unemployed. You know what I mean? People still sending me messages. No, I'm not going to answer. Be there for yourself first, and then what the leftover is, or the overflow, and don't say leftover because you don't want to give people your leftovers. The overflow is you can give that away. If you give away more than your overflow, eventually you will be drained, y'all. And I want everybody to take that one to the bank because it's too many people, especially men, committing suicide Men who are otherwise supposed to be happy men, great families, and all of that committing suicide because the pressure of a man is already a lot of pressure. And then women in society put more pressure on them. And then they are told that they can't fail at anything. So therefore they're checking out. They think they're better off not here. They think they're less valued somewhere else in the atmosphere than here on earth. So therefore, with that being said, take care of yourselves. That's what women too. But I'm telling you, our men right now are having hard times mentally. So with that being said, everybody have an amazing day for real this time. Peace.
Have a great week.